Welcome to First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast. I'm your host, James Gardner, certified athletic therapist, certified strength and conditioning specialist, yoga instructor, human being. This platform, for the pros, by the pros, anybody in the performance space, and beyond. Welcome here to share in the stories of professionals, experiences, journeys, learning along the way. It's a platform to connect, to network, and to be a part of a community that cares, with conversations that matter, experiences that resonate, and generate ideas, thought-provoking, organic dialogue, passionate pros. Brought to you as always by First Star Therapy, Mobility Tape, Epic, and Benchmark Athletics, in association with the Canadian Athletic Therapists Association. It's First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being a part of it. So here we go again. We have another session from the World Federation of Athletic Training and Therapy World Congress here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. This is the 2022 version. This is the first time in person in some time for all of us. An amazing panel of voting associations and humans that are in the room with us today. I'll just go around the table here and introduce everybody, and then we'll come back around to the importance of this conference, the value of this conference, and what the World Federation means sort of globally. This is a thing I represent Canada through my designation in the CATA. We've spoken with the NATA, with Brian and the WFATT as a WFATT president. We've talked to people from Israel, from Greece, and here we are with another session. We have just been named the official podcast of WFATT. Very humbled and honored to do that, as I am to be in your presence this afternoon. We have Sinead O'Keefe, who is a member of the ARTI, which is Athletic Rehabilitation Therapy Ireland. Next to her, we have Lynn Allen, a member of the same association, a different seat, a different human being. To her left, and straight across from me is Griffin. He is the representative of PBATS, which is the Professional Baseball Athletic Trainers Society. To his left and my right, we have Ollie, don't call me Oliver today, Coburn from BASRaT. This is the British Association of Sport Rehabilitators. And then last, but certainly not least, Tim Hansen, who is representing AFATS, which is the Armed Forces Athletic Trainers Society, a broad spectrum of representation from countries, from geography, but also where this role as a trainer and therapist sits globally. Tim, we'll start with you. You're here at the World Congress. You're part of WFATT. What does that mean for the armed forces and AFATS?
So for AFAT, well, first of all, thank you for having me and being part of this panel. AFATS really is a worldwide organization. We have athletic trainers working in the military setting, not only domestically in the US, but in Europe, in Asia, and on ships worldwide. So we do have a footprint in all corners of the globe, and it's important to network with other organizations in other corners of the world so that we can provide a network so that our people have a larger network wherever they may be stationed, and whether that may be. So really the cornerstone of our attendance at this meeting is to network with those other organizations that we can build on those relationships and continue to collaborate moving forward to continue to provide value for our members.
Amazing and a great capture. And we really appreciate the work that you do and appreciate you being here. To your right, moving backwards here, Ollie, for you, what does WFATT represent? What does being here do or help with in the British Association of Sport Rehabilitators?
I'm probably use the word that most of the others around the table will use at some stage, which is collaboration. And I think the way that WFATT facilitates that by bringing everybody together at events like this is really important for the profession globally. For us as an organisation, we're in a real growth phase at the moment. You know, we've undergone quite a lot of organisational development recently. become much more professional. Our public profile has raised. And we also want to use our knowledge and experiences from going through that process to help develop the profession internationally, particularly those newer organisations or smaller organisations that are joining. I think we have just as much to offer the other people in the room as some of the bigger organisations can offer us.
Absolutely. And we've touched on this through various different podcasts, through various different guests that we've had in here, not only today, but in the past. And I think that collaborative piece, the organizational support, bigger members helping smaller members in turn, or newer members, providing a little bit of fresh blood or new energy or different ways of seeing and approaching things, critical, not only in our profession, but when we're allied across the globe. Rick, to you and PBATS, I have been a member of PBATS in the past, so you are tugging at heartstrings by being here, obviously, but really appreciate your time being here. What does this mean? What does this do? How does this coalesce with PBATS?
This is a great opportunity to kind of showcase PBATS and what we've been able to do over the past 15 or so years. We are an educational society, and our main goal is to educate and give opportunities to students and or athletic trainers, not only in the United States, but internationally. And we've developed student exchange programs with universities in Ireland, the UK, Australia, Japan. We've also taken students from Italy, Germany, and then Latin American countries. So our showcase for our society is educationally based. And we try to provide opportunities so individuals can gather information. And it's our society is based on baseball sports medicine, but we like to think that when they come and get an opportunity to learn, that they're not only learning baseball sports medicine, but they're learning how to manage all types of sports medicine injuries. But they also get a really good idea of the intricacies involved in dealing with a professional sport, dealing with rehabilitation, diagnostic, strength and conditioning, return to play, nutrition. So we just try to give them a very good opportunity to learn all of the things they need to. And then we hope that they take that back to their country, which then creates a further interest within their university setting, within the fellow students, and then also in the country to grow athletic training. So that's kind of what our society is trying to do from an international perspective.
Yeah, and an amazing capture there as well. And having lived it and no longer being in baseball, you learn the baseball specifics, but the skill set, how to be a professional, how to manage all of the things that you touched on, either in part or better in some areas, but you also learn to evaluate yourself and grow as a professional through that. And you take that learning as you move forward, I think, as we'll all do through the conference, through, what's being presented and how it's being presented and who's presenting and these sorts of things. So again, appreciate everybody's time. We'll move to your right to Lynn Allen. You are representing the Athletic Rehabilitation Therapy Ireland. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And similar question in terms of what does being here do for your association and maybe even for you personally as well?
Well, this is my first time here at World Congress, so absolutely delighted and honoured to be here. I think from ARTI's point of view, it's so nice to be able to be here in person, to collaborate, as I think everybody has said throughout the podcast so far, to be able to collaborate with people, to network. And I think just to support each other and to encourage each other. We come from quite a small country and a small organisation. We're completely volunteer led. So it's actually nice to get the support and the encouragement from other members, organisations, and even just to collaborate from a research and from an education point of view as well, and establish better links through other universities globally, and to allow mobility not only of students, but also then of our own athletic therapists in Ireland. And that really has been enabled through the international agreement. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just wonderful to be here in person.
Yeah, and it's great to have representation from across the globe. We had in an earlier session, we had a couple of students from Ireland, and we had them on at the same time as a couple of students at Sheridan College in Ontario here in Canada. And it was really cool to see the dynamic between students who are going through and learning as they go. And I think that's a big part of why I'm here, of why all of us are here, is to be in an environment like this, either the first time or the 15th time. There's always opportunity to learn, to grow, to meet new people, and to get sort of reinvigorated or get further down the rabbit hole, whichever one you've chased. Sinead O'Keefe, same organization, different human, different chair. We've said that before. Your take on being here?
Yeah, so thanks very much for having us. Me and Lynn are delighted to be here representing from an ARTI perspective. I think collaboration is the buzzword of our discussions today, but building on that as well as the global promotion of the profession. So being able to meet with people, you know, from different organizations that have helped us so much, and meeting new people from other organizations that are involved with the World Federation has been fantastic, and being able to bring all of these organizations together to build that global network, that global community of athletic therapists and trainers is such a fantastic part of the World Federation, and we're delighted to be involved in and looking forward to building on that this weekend and into the future. So we're delighted to be here to start that and continue that process.
Terrific to have everybody here. And the common themes are obvious: the networking, the collaboration, the opportunity to connect with, well, humans in person this time. And here in Winnipeg, again, this is where we are for the World Congress. Next year we'll be in Israel. There is just so much opportunity to see the world, but also see the world of athletic therapy through many different lenses. So Tim, I'll take it back to you. The armed forces, this seems like a large number of students or a large number of younger practitioners' dream to be able to work in the armed forces as a therapist. What is distinct, if you can talk to anything that may be distinct about working within the armed forces, or you want to flip it on its head and say, well, what's the global unifying approach within the armed forces as an athletic trainer?
Yeah, so I think everyone that serves as whether they're a civilian or uniformed member of the unit, military unit, has a deep sense of pride and of country and of service. And at the end of the day, we're still taking care of the same injuries that everyone else is seeing, maybe at a different time of day. Everything in the military happens early. So, but everyone who works in that setting has a significant sense of service. They want, it's the same dynamic that you see in a professional or collegiate sports team of you want to win. And one thing the Chief of Staff of the Army says, you know, winning matters, and it matters in the training room, which leads to what happens out on the field. So I think everyone that works in that setting has that sense of pride, which is the resounding theme. Yeah, absolutely. And I think to a person in the room, this is a uniform approach to what we do, or we wouldn't do it, and we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here continuing to grow, continuing to do all of the things that we've touched on. Ollie, in the British Association of Sport Rehabilitators, how is this profession represented? Athletic therapy, athletic trainers. I'm not from there. Is it well respected? Is it well known? How is it viewed in where you are?
Well respected, well known. I'll take those separately. Well respected, definitely yes, and increasingly more so. And we can half measure that in terms of the way policy changes, the way sporting regulations change, by the number of our members working in more prominent positions in various different sports and settings outside of sports, including the military as well. So yeah, certainly well respected, and we benefit from that because other organisations are willing and want to collaborate with us and get involved. Well known, we're very small comparatively, you know, within the UK. So physiotherapy, for example, have 60,000 registered practitioners. We're at about 1,200. So awareness, even professionally, amongst our colleagues, isn't fantastic. And that represents a real opportunity for us to develop that awareness and awareness amongst the public, again, is not fantastic. And that is a big challenge for us as a small organisation, with obviously the budgets that come with that. We need to be really resource efficient with how we communicate to the public and get our message out there. But I think it is changing. And we're new. We're only 22 years old, right, as a profession. So in another 22 years, I think if you ask me the same question again, my response would be completely different.
All right. I hope we're at another Congress and we can ask that question again in 22 years.
Let me know. Say a prayer.
I hope we can revisit that. And that is, there is strength in numbers. And so one of the themes as well from this is there is strength in numbers. And when you have a large association in the US, and the NATA. You have a smaller association in Canada. You have a smaller association in the UK or in wherever it may be across the globe. When we come together as one, there is some greater strength in those numbers. We struggle with the same things here in Canada, being underrepresented as a profession. But at the same time, I think you touched on it, and I think this is critical from within this conference as well, is the knowledge from within. If we can harness that, then the knowledge into the public becomes that much greater. And so what is it that we do, and not in a comparison as the proverbial pissing contest, as I do this and the physio does that, but more as how do we integrate? How do we make this model work where athletic trainers, athletic therapists, sports rehabilitators, whatever the title may be, can be integrated into essentially a multidisciplinary space where we can have conversations with everybody, from a GP to an orthopedic surgeon, to a military sergeant, to a civilian, to a weekend warrior, and so on and so forth. And not to get too far off topic, we'll bring it back with Rick. Obviously, in the professional baseball setting, trainers are known to be, from the early days, washing pants, doing the laundry.
Yeah, we did.
Yep. And still in some of the minor league clubs, I'm sure that's happening. But to where the profession is now, how have things changed? How have things grown within PBATS?
They've changed immensely. You just mentioned I was in the minor leagues, and after the game was over, the manager and I would go to the laundromat and do the uniforms. Yeah. So for not very much money either, but now it's really changed. The staffs now, most of the athletic training staffs in pro baseball have between 5 and 7 individuals. They'll have 3 or 4 athletic trainers. They'll have a physical therapist. They'll have a massage therapist, which I think is great. When I was with Seattle, we were very fortunate. We had a Japanese athletic trainer for 17 years, and integrating acupuncture and his massage techniques, I really felt like that helped keep my pitchers especially healthy. For 10 years in a row, we had the fewest number of pitchers go on the disabled list, and it happened to coincide with bringing somebody over from Japan and doing things a little bit differently than everybody else was doing it. And now if you look around Major League Baseball, most of the teams do have an athletic trainer who's either a massage therapist or an acupuncturist. And so the understanding of what the body needs, because of the number of games in such a short number of days and the load that's placed on them, it's crucial to have enough people to take care of them. When I started, I was by myself for 9 years, and in spring training I had 70 players. So imagine, taking care of 70 players. There's a game going on and you're inside working on somebody, and somebody gets hit in the head or slides into the base and they're yelling athletic trainer, and you got to go run out, and you didn't see what happened. But now every staff has at least 3 to 5 people. A lot of even some of the teams in the minor leagues, they have 2 athletic trainers because they realize the importance and the demand placed on them. So there's a continual amount of growth and respect from ownership now and management. They understand what is going on. They understand the need for it. Also, I think from the minor league perspective, which is the eventual growth of the major leagues. If they don't have the minor league players developing and staying healthy, they'll never become big leaguers. And so management has recognized that, and they've placed athletic trainers now in their minor league facilities, and they use those as rehab centers, and they use those to the core of their whole programs. And they usually have 6 to 8 athletic trainers employed in those facilities. So the growth has been great. I think the recognition of working with different types of physicians has also grown. It used to be, you just had one doctor and he did everything. And it's the same thing now. We have several doctors with several different disciplines working alongside the trainer. And a number of the trainers have become the so-called medical directors of the team, which I think is a huge thing, to have that respect in the community as well as the organization, to be named the medical director, say, over a physician, where they're in charge of managing every aspect of the medical care of the team. And there are probably at least a dozen teams that's taken place.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we could speak to, and I think each one of you in the room, we would love to have you on again as an individual guest to talk, more and more about that specific area, or that specific area of expertise, but that foundational knowledge of being able to be in those places and oversee everything, and the continual growth. This is it. Interdisciplinary piece is massive in the sports space, but also in the care of human beings. And not one person knows everything, not one profession knows everything, and not one profession or one person can execute a plan that's going to be precise for every individual they deal with. So from an interdisciplinary approach, we'll throw it your way in terms of however you want to take this, Lynn, but your eyes open in terms of seeking and creating sort of best care or best practice for human beings, whether they're athletes on the weekend or athletes professionally. Is this a big part of the education within your society, sort of the interdisciplinary, the connectivity, not only as an athletic trainer, as a standalone, or an athletic therapist as a standalone, but being part of something a little bit bigger or a little bit broader?
Oh, definitely. It is like ARTI is only in existence since 2009. So we're a very young organization, like we're only 13 years on the go. So we are trying to break ground in Ireland. We are trying to involve athletic therapists in a multidisciplinary approach. It is a little bit harder in Ireland because we don't have the state regulatory
Regulations, yeah. Regulatory
Sorry.
bodies, and no, that's fine.
Getting tongue tied. So that is a sort of a drawback for us somewhat. But we are, every year we're getting stronger. We're getting more members every year. So I do think we are growing. And again, from an education point of view, we have 3 institutes that actually teach athletic therapy. So with that then comes our placements. And from that then our students go out into various different multidisciplinary clinics. So again, it broadens everybody's horizons on what athletic therapy is. So I do feel we're getting there, but there's more work to be done.
Sure, and a great response. And I think there's always work to be done. And so if we continue that over to you, Sinead, and the 3 institutions in Ireland that offer the education, how does that look? The students have a core competency, and then they're placed out for placements in various settings. What are the settings that they're placed into in Ireland?
Yeah, so that clinical placement, the hours that they do, is an essential part of meeting our ARTI requirements. All students are required to complete at least 500 clinical hours. So that's important, at least. A lot of them meet much higher than that from their involvement in a number of different settings. So we try and place them across different cohorts and different groups. So whether that's elite, sub-elite, or recreational settings, whether it's in kind of what you would anticipate as a sporting environment with different GA teams, soccer teams, different sporting environments in Ireland, but also more occupational settings as well. So trying to incorporate them across many different environments. And that's a really important aspect of our growth within ARTI, to be able to expand each of those clinical placement sites, both nationally and internationally. And that's a key part for all 3 of our institutions, is creating opportunities for, they do a block of placement in their 4th year, in their final year of their undergrad, where they generally will travel internationally for a period of maybe 3 to 5 months, depending on what the hours are available for them in these settings. And then they also complete then the different rotations through some domestic settings then across the other 3 years of the program. So I think that's a huge part of our growth and why we're so involved in the World Federation as well, the ability to grow a lot of those clinical sites and provide, again, back to what we were talking about, that multidisciplinary setting as well, so that they get exposure to many different environments that maybe we might not be able to expose them to in Ireland, but they have that opportunity internationally if they wish to travel. And then they can, of course, bring that knowledge back to Ireland and help us to expand as an organization as well, which is really important.
Yeah, truly global capture here. However, briefly this afternoon, really appreciate your time in being here, everybody. I'll just go around the table one more time, starting with you, Tim. If there is somewhere where listeners can go to find out about your organization, a website or somebody to contact, or if you're willing to be a contact, this goes a long way. This podcast originally started out as a podcast to connect people. It's doing that, but it's also generating an interesting community, and I think support and the networking piece. And I think that piece is massive to understand there are all these organizations, and we can all filter back to WFATT as this continues to evolve and this continues to grow. And maybe we get to go to Ireland one year and have some beer in a pub there and see how that goes. But we'll push that later. Tim, AFATS, where can people find more information?
Yes, absolutely. So we do have a website, www.afats.org. AFATS.org, and there's a multitude of information on there on the current leadership and other. There is a members only section for members. We also have a significant social media outreach. So we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Missing one. All the major social media platforms we're on.
Yeah, I wish I could've
Please,
helped there.
please like us. We do push out information. We do have a number of sponsors that we push out their information. And again, that is what we consider to be the best way to communicate with our members and communicate with other organizations on what's going on within AFATS and to hopefully learn what's going on within other organizations also.
I appreciate that. Ollie, BASRaT, British Association of Sport Rehabilitators, best place to go for people, information on that.
Yeah. So people can find us at BASRaT.org, BASRAT.org. That's the official place to find us. You will also find us on socials. If people want to reach out to me personally as well, that's absolutely fine. I'm an incredibly passionate advocate for our profession and spend the majority of my week advocating, representing and talking about our work. So if there's anybody out there that wants to work with us, that wants to know more and wants to get involved, then you'll find me mostly on Twitter and LinkedIn, and that's the best place to reach out. So come and have a chat, come and work with us, and let's grow this thing.
Yeah, beautiful, and it's
Get it growing.
great. Yeah, get it growing, keep it going. This is it. So Rick and PBATS.
Yeah, ours is really easy. It's PBATS.org. And there's a lot of information on there. We also have a private section for our members only, but there's information on there. There's classes on there. There's different web series you can take. You can find out things. There's probably the most important thing that everybody goes on is it's the PBATS job board. There's a job board. You can go and look, and there are actually still jobs open for professional baseball athletic trainers, but it's a good website. You get a lot of hits, managed well. There's a lot of good information on there.
Appreciate it and appreciate your time
You bet.
this afternoon. Sue Falsone is also here, just for those that are not present or are coming whenever this gets put out in the public. Sue was the first ever female athletic trainer in Major League Baseball. She was with the Dodgers. I met Sue briefly in my time in the minor leagues. I think once she was doing something in Great Lakes, Michigan, when I was in the Midwest League or something like that. She was there for days, shooting conferences all over the place.
She's amazing. And when they found the meeting was going to be here, they reached out to PBATS to ask if we would sponsor a speaker, and I immediately called her because she is at the forefront of a lot of things that are going on in athletic training. She's a huge advocate for athletic training, particularly in women, which I am very happy for because I have 3 daughters, and she was the first female head athletic trainer in professional baseball, which is an amazing feat, an amazing accomplishment, and she did that well. She's a businesswoman. She's intelligent. She's a great advocate. She's a great speaker. And, if you ever get a chance to go hear her speak, you should go because it's definitely worth the price of admission. She is
absolutely
phenomenal.
A recent textbook as well, which is well represented and worth the read.
Can I very quickly jump in on one point you made there
Absolutely.
about women in sport and exercise medicine and athletic training specifically? It's just a hat tip to a network set up by Dr. Holly White. She's on BASRaT's executive committee and from Warwick Medical School. She's founded a network called Women in Sport and Exercise Medicine, or WISER, for the acronym.
Yeah.
And she's creating an environment where people can share experiences and have a safe space to work together and discuss the challenges that women face working in sport. So if you're in the UK, it is UK based for now. So please go and check that out because Holly's doing some great work.
Yeah,
It's great.
beautiful. And this is what it's all about, sharing these little tidbits that can go a long way in creating opportunity, connection, so on and so forth. We'll wrap up with both of you, Lynn, Sinead, ARTI, Athletic Rehabilitation Therapy Ireland. Wherever you want to take this, where can people find you?
Yeah, so again, a lot of information on our website, arti.ie. You'll find all the information for our executive committee, and I'm the public relations officer for ARTI at the moment. So if anyone wants to reach out, all my details are on the ARTI website. So we're looking for any sort of collaborations in terms of research, placement opportunities, anything anyone has any questions for or wants connections within ARTI and doesn't know who to contact, just reach out to me and I can set up any networking or any opportunities there as well. So don't be afraid to reach out to me.
Okay, well, that's going to wrap us up for this afternoon. Again, we are now the official podcast of the World Federation of Athletic Training and Therapy. This is Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast. Our guests this afternoon, Tim Hansen, Ollie Coburn, Rick Griffin, Lynn Allen, Sinead O'Keefe, from across the globe, doing many things, sharing all of the knowledge, and hopefully getting a couple beers later this afternoon, this evening. Have a great Congress, and we look forward to hearing from all of our listeners as well. Thank you so much. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of this community. Check us out online, firststartherapy.com. That's FIRSTAR therapy.com. Or email us with feedback, consult@firststartherapy.com, CONSULT@firststartherapy.com, on Instagram @firststar.therapy, and our podcast host @letschat.at. This is First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast.